You ever stop and realize how much power you give away without even noticing? How much of yourself slowly disappears when you keep chasing someone who never really chases you back? Today, we're talking about what happens when you stop, when you finally walk away, when you disappear, and more importantly, what that disappearance does to her mind. Before we go any further, hit that subscribe button. This channel is for men who think deeper, men who want truth, not fantasy. The fact that you're here already says something about you, so subscribe and let's keep building. Now let's get into it. When you disappear from her life, something changes, something she didn't expect. And it's not what most men assume. This isn't about playing games. It's not about manipulation. It's about presence and absence. It's about value and scarcity. It's about what happens when a man finally chooses himself. Most men never truly disappear. They linger, they hover, they stay half available just in case. They keep texting, they keep liking her posts, they keep hoping she'll notice. But that's not disappearing. That's waiting in the shadows. And she knows it. Real disappearance is clean. It's total. It's not driven by anger. It's not bitterness. It's not about proving a point. You're just gone. And that absence creates something powerful. The first thing she feels is confusion. Not sadness yet, not regret, just confusion. Because you were always there. You were predictable. You were safe. And now suddenly, you're not. She checks her phone. No message from you. She scrolls through old conversations. Nothing new. She looks at her social media. You didn't watch her story. You didn't like anything. You didn't react. That messes with her head because in her mind, you were the one who cared more. You were the one who reached out. You were the one who made the effort. And now that effort is gone. So she starts asking questions. Did something happen? Did I do something wrong? Is he okay? Is he talking to someone else? Those questions start small, but they grow. Because the human mind hates unanswered questions. It hates gaps. It hates uncertainty. And your absence is a gap she can't fill. Here's where most men misunderstand what's really happening. They think disappearing is about making her miss you. It's not. Not at first. It's about breaking a pattern. It's about disrupting expectations. She expected you to always be there, always respond, always care. And when that stops, her brain has to recalibrate. And that adjustment is uncomfortable. The second thing she feels is curiosity. This comes after the confusion settles. She starts wanting to know what changed. Where did you go? Why aren't you responding? She might reach out, a casual text, a random question, some excuse just to check in. And this is where most men fail. They respond instantly. They think, finally she cares. And they give her everything again. The attention, the emotion, the availability, and just like that, the power shifts back. She got her answer. You're still there, still waiting, still accessible, and the curiosity dies. But if you stay gone, or if you respond with distance, that curiosity deepens. She starts wondering about your life, what you're doing, who you're with, what you're focused on. She starts imagining you moving forward. And that image bothers her because she assumed you'd stay stuck. She assumed you'd stay right where she left you, but you didn't. And now she's the one wondering. The third thing she feels is a loss of control. This one hits deep, because whether they admit it or not, most women like knowing they have options. They like knowing certain men are available, not because they want them, but because it feels safe. It feels secure. When you disappear, that safety disappears with you. She can't reach you emotionally anymore. She can't pull you back in with a message. She can't test your interest. She can't keep you on standby. And that loss of control creates anxiety. She starts to feel like she lost something, even if she never wanted it, even if she never valued it. The moment it's gone, it becomes valuable. That's human nature. We don't appreciate what's always available. We value what's scarce, what's rare, what's no longer ours. Your absence makes you scarce. It makes you rare. It makes you valuable again. Not because you changed, but because you're no longer accessible. The fourth thing she feels is regret, but it doesn't come fast. Regret is slow. It builds quietly. At first, she tells herself she doesn't care. She convinces herself you were too available, too invested, too easy. But as time passes, that story starts to crack. She remembers the good moments, the laughs, the way you showed up, the way you genuinely cared, and she starts to wonder if she took that for granted. She questions her choices. Maybe she didn't appreciate you. Maybe she assumed you'd always be there. And now that you're not, she feels the weight of that assumption. She realizes she may have lost something real, something solid, something rare, genuine effort, genuine care, genuine presence. And that realization hurts because regret isn't just missing someone. It's realizing you had something valuable and didn't recognize it until it was gone. Now let's be clear. This isn't about revenge. It's not about hurting her. It's not about making her feel bad so you feel powerful. That's weak. That's ego. That's still being controlled by her reaction. Real disappearance is about self-respect. It's about refusing to stay where you're not valued. It's about choosing yourself. You don't walk away to punish her. You walk away to protect yourself. Because staying where you're only an option slowly destroys you. It eats at your confidence. It makes you doubt your worth. It turns you into someone you don't recognize, someone who waits, someone who hopes, someone who sacrifices peace for crumbs. And no woman truly respects that man. She might keep him around. She might use him for comfort. But deep down, she doesn't respect him. And nothing real can grow without respect. So when you disappear, you're not playing a game. You're setting a standard. You're saying, I know my value. You're saying, I don't need to convince anyone. You're saying, I'd rather be alone than disrespected. And that energy is magnetic, not because it's manipulative, but because it's real. It's rare. Most men don't have it. Most men chase. Most men fold. Most men stay when they should leave. You didn't, and that makes you different. The fifth thing she feels is respect, and this is the most important one, because respect is the foundation of real attraction. She might have liked you before, she might have enjoyed your presence, but without respect, it was shallow, temporary, conditional. When you choose yourself, she sees you differently. She sees a man with boundaries, a man who won't tolerate being treated as less, a man who values himself enough to walk away. And that's attractive on a deep level. Because women are drawn to men who are grounded, men who know their worth, men who don't need validation, men who can stand alone. Your disappearance proves that. It proves you're not desperate, not needy, not waiting for her to decide your value. You already did. Now here's the hard truth. Sometimes she won't feel any of this. Sometimes she won't care. Sometimes she'll move on without looking back. And that's okay, because your disappearance was never about her reaction. It was about your decision. It was about choosing dignity over hope, self-respect over attachment. Even if she never reaches out, you still win. You kept your power. You kept your peace. You kept yourself. And that's worth more than any relationship built on you shrinking. Now let's talk about what happens next, because this is where most men mess it up. She reaches out. She says she misses you. She says she made a mistake. She wants to talk. And you think it worked. You think she finally sees your value. And maybe she does. But here's the test. Do you go back to being the same man? The always available man? The man who drops everything? The man who puts her first no matter what? Or do you stay the man who walked away? The man with boundaries? The man who values himself? Because if you go back to the old version, nothing changes. She'll lose respect again. She'll take you for granted again, not because she's bad, but because you taught her she could. So if she reaches out, don't ignore her. But don't rush back either. Stay grounded, stay centered, engage with boundaries. Open, but not desperate. Interested, but not at any cost. Show her the man who disappeared is who you are now, not a tactic, not a phase, the real you. And if she can't respect that, she's not for you. Let's go deeper. Why does disappearing work? Not as manipulation, but as truth, because it removes fake connection. It removes one-sided effort. It exposes the imbalance that was already there. Most relationships don't end from big fights. They end because one person carried everything. One person invested while the other coasted. And that imbalance kills attraction. So when you disappear, you're not ending something real. You're ending something broken. You're just honest enough to admit it, and that honesty is powerful. It forces reality to the surface. It forces her to feel the absence of what you gave. And sometimes absence is the only wake-up call. But understand this, disappearing isn't about her. It's about you. It's about protecting your energy, choosing your life. Every minute you chase someone who doesn't choose you is a minute stolen from your growth, your goals, your peace. And you never get that time back. Disappearing is self-preservation. It's saying, I matter. My time matters. I won't beg for a place. And when you live like that, everything shifts. You attract different energy, different people, different opportunities, because you're no longer operating from lack. You're operating from emotional abundance, the abundance of knowing you're enough, of knowing you can walk away and still be okay. So when you disappear, you're not losing. You're leveling up. You're becoming the man who doesn't settle, doesn't beg, doesn't stay where he's not valued. That man doesn't chase, he doesn't convince, he doesn't disappear for attention. He disappears because it's right for him, and everything else is just a byproduct. So if you're watching this and someone's on your mind, here's the truth. Don't disappear to hurt her. Don't disappear to make her jealous. Don't disappear as a strategy. Disappear because you respect yourself, because staying is costing you, and then stay gone long enough to rebuild, long enough to remember who you are. If she comes back, great, but only if she meets a man who's whole, a man who won't accept second place, and if she doesn't come back, even better, because now you're free, free to find someone who values you from the start. That's the real win, not her regret, your peace, your self-respect. So disappear when you need to, not as a game, as a boundary, as a standard, as a commitment to yourself, and watch how everything shifts, not just with her, with you. If this resonated, hit that subscribe button. We're building men who choose themselves, who think clearly, who move with purpose. You belong here. Subscribe and let's keep building.